Hello everyone, welcome back to another Roblox Studio tutorial. To get started, go to your Roblox homepage and click on Create. Next, click on Create New Experience. So basically, excuse me there. Basically, we're gonna create a new game, a new Roblox game. And just wait for Studio to load. And then we're gonna click on Classic Baseplate. So usually this is the routine that you would do every time you want to create a new game. On the other hand, if you wanted to select a previous game, then just go and select your previous game that you have created. Anyway, so for today we're creating a new game, and for today's lesson we're gonna learn how to duplicate our parts and how to align them so that they line up on a straight line and the parts are evenly spaced out. So to do that, click on your model tab here, and we want to set the move here. So the move here, currently every time you move a part, it's gonna move by 1 stud. Let's change that to 3 studs. Alright, after you change that to 3, let's move back to the home tab and click on a part. So as you can see, a part has been added to our workspace. Let's go change the color of that part and change the material to brick. And I'm gonna change the view of my camera to the top. Now I don't see my part anymore, so I zoom out using the mouse, the scroll wheel on the mouse. I can zoom in, zoom out, and I wanna, you know what? I'm just gonna use the F key to put my part in focus, and there it is. How nice is that, right? Next thing we want to do is we want to duplicate that part. So I'm gonna make sure my part is selected, which it is right now, and you're gonna make sure, another thing you want to make sure is this collision here is unchecked. If it is checked like this, you want to uncheck that collisions. And then you want to do Control D to duplicate your part. So as you can see, now I have 2 different parts. Before I only have 1, now I have 2. After you have done that, Control D, you want to click on the Move button here, and you want to move your part out. 1, 2. So let's move it by two times, right? So each time it's gonna move by 3 studs, because that's what we set in the model tab, right? So we're gonna move it out by two moves, and we're gonna do Control D again, and I'm gonna move it out again. 1, 2. Control D again, and move it out again. 1, 2. So that's how you duplicate a part. Control D and move. 1, 2. Right? Control D again and move. Let's move it in the other direction now. So here we have 1, 2. Control D again and move. 1, 2. Okay? I think that's enough parts. Next thing we want to do is, instead of just duplicating 1 part each time, I'm gonna select this whole bunch of parts. So we're gonna duplicate the whole row in 1 time. So again, Control D and move. Control D and move. Control D and move. And as you can see, so now you have a bunch of parts here, and it's much easier to use duplicate to create them, as opposed to create each one individually and then you have to line them up. When you use when you set this move here and you use duplicate to move them you see automatically everything is lined up in a straight line, right? They line up vertically and they are lining up horizontally. As long as when you move, you don't move them up and down, you just move them sideways, right? In a straight line. So now everything is lined up. The next thing we want to learn is we want to learn about this collision. Remember I mentioned to you that we want to make sure that collision is off before we do it, right? First, let me clean up a little bit. So now I'm gonna clean this up. So that's one way to space out your parts evenly, right? Let me clean this up. I'm gonna select all those parts and press delete. So now they're all gone. So now I wanna put these parts together. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on collision here. Remember we wanna make sure it's turned off before. Now I wanna check that box. And I'm gonna select my parts. And I'm gonna move it this way. You see with collision being turned on, it's not gonna go through the other piece. As soon as it hits the other piece, it's gonna stop. And let me select the next piece here. And I'm gonna move it over. And just do the same thing for the rest of them. With collision on again, you see as soon as it hits the other piece, it's gonna stop. So this way you can put the pieces like right next to each other but without overlapping each other. So now I have one smooth row here, right? I'm gonna select the whole row and I'm gonna do Control D. But I'm gonna show you what happened here because my collision is still on. You can see that when I do Control D, it actually create a row on top of the other row. So the bottom row is the original row, right? And when you duplicate the bottom row, the top row is placed on top of the bottom row. That's because collision is on. And that is not what I want in this case. So what I want to do is I want to undo this. And I want to make sure my collision box is unchecked. And I'm going to select all these parts again. And I'm going to do Control D again to duplicate. And this time, you see, without the collisions, my new row is placed exactly where the original row is. So now I can move them out, right? And I'm gonna do Control D a couple more times, Control D, and move it out, Control D, and move it out. Let me do 2 more times, Control D, and move, Control D, and move. And now we want to put them back together again. So let's go to the top view, or we can do it from here, I guess. So now to put them back, because you see there's a gap in between each of these rows, right? So I want to put them back. I'm gonna turn on collision here because I don't want any gap between. So I'm turning on collision, and I gotta make sure I'm selecting. You know what? Why do I do this? I'm gonna select all of them at the same time, right? So I'm gonna move all these at the same time. I'm gonna bang it against the first row there, and now I'm gonna select all these, right? And I'm gonna move it back. Let's try again. Didn't want to move back. Let's go to the top view. Let's see what's going on. You know why I didn't want to move back? Because I selected these as well. So let's do it all over again. We're gonna select just these without the ones up there and move it back. And it's easier to see from the top view than the side view. And now I have 2 left. I'm gonna select these and move it back up. And last one. Nope, that didn't get selected. Let's try again. You can tell they're selected because you see like a little blue outline around each piece. And I'm gonna move this one. So there it is. We got our brick floor. Now if you press play to test, we have this beautiful brick floor that we have just created. And if you want to make this floor like much bigger than this, just go back in and select the whole floor and duplicate the whole floor and move it. So that way you can build a much bigger floor if you like. Alright guys, so that's how you use duplicate in Roblox. And also we learned about how to align our parts so that they line up in a straight line and they are evenly spaced out. And we learned about collisions, what it does. So basically collision just stops the part so that they don't overlap each other. If you would like to have some additional material to work on prior to the next lesson being posted, you can go to our YouTube channel, PrizeCP Roblox, and click on the playlist here. We have a bunch of different playlists. There are 2 good playlists for new beginners here. The first one is the PrizeCP Roblox New Beginner Series, which we are working on right now. And you can also go to PrizeCP Roblox Extreme Simple Series. This series is actually a very good series for new beginners. Just start with lesson number 001 and then go in sequence, like go from 01 to 02, 03, because each new lesson, the material is based upon the material that you learned from the previous lesson. So if you go out of order, some of the material you may not be familiar with. Alright, so until next time, have fun creating your own Roblox games.